Bryant looks inside, finds Gasol. Gasol, count it, and a foul.
His IQ was so high, he could shoot from the outside, so he spreads the floor.
Powell's such a graceful, skilled athlete at that size with such mobility. He's just a player that changes the game.
Ow, ow, ow. Wow, wow, wow.
He was one of the smartest and most skilled bigs of his generation. Two-time NBA champion, six-time All-Star, and an international basketball legend. And yet, when fans argue about the great bigs of the 2000s and 2010s, Pau Gasol's name rarely makes the list. To most casual fans, he's remembered as Kobe's sidekick, the soft-spoken Spaniard who helped deliver not one, but 2 rings to Los Angeles. But that's only part of the story. In reality, Pau changed the way big men played in the NBA. He proved that winning wasn't just about size and strength, it could be about touch, finesse, and basketball IQ. Before he ever put on a Lakers jersey, Pau was the guy in Memphis. He was casually dropping 20 and 10 while carrying a relocation team that had no business making the playoffs. He was the Rookie of the Year and already one of the best bigs in the league, but because he was stuck on a small market team, most fans barely noticed. When he arrived in LA, everything changed. Pau didn't just fit in, he transformed the Lakers. He was the key that unlocked Kobe's second act. The Lakers don't go from contender to champion without him, and when it mattered most, it wasn't just Kobe. Pau was making the biggest plays in the biggest games. Here's the craziest part though. Pau would be more valuable today than he was back then. A 7-footer who could pass like a guard, space the floor, run the offense, and defend without relying on brute strength. That's exactly what every NBA front office is begging for right now. Sure, some called him soft, but Duncan knew, KG knew, and Kobe definitely knew.
Pau's one of the best post players of all time.
Today's generation, from Jokic to Towns to Sabonis, plays a brand of basketball Pau helped introduce to the NBA. So, how good was Pau Gasol actually? Before Pau became an international star, he was just a tall, awkward kid from Barcelona who spent his days dreaming about becoming a doctor. Not a basketball star, a doctor. Both of Pau's parents worked in healthcare, and their home was built on discipline and education. Pau wasn't sitting around watching NBA mixtapes, he was reading, studying, and playing soccer, but basketball's gravity pulled him in. By his early teens, Pau stood over 6 feet tall, but moved like a guard thanks to his soccer background, but wasn't dominating yet. Spain wasn't producing NBA stars back then. However, it was undeniable that he possessed a rare combination of size, coordination, and intelligence. His breakout came with FC Barcelona. In just over 2 years, Pau went from a promising role player to the most dominant player in Spain. In 2001, a 20-year-old Pau led Barca to a league title, won Finals MVP, and outplayed veterans nearly a decade older than him. NBA scouts were impressed, but unsure. The 01 NBA draft was stacked with athletic American prospects. Pau stood out, not because of power, but because he understood the game. He had footwork, patience, and passing ability that most bigs lacked. He wasn't trying to be flashy, he was trying to be perfect. When he declared for the draft, he became the great unknown of the class. Nobody realized that he'd soon carry an entire NBA franchise.
With the 3rd pick in the 2001 draft, the Atlanta Hawks select Pau Gasol from FC Barcelona, Spain.
Eventually, Pau went 3rd overall to the Hawks, but was immediately dealt to Memphis, a freshly relocated team with no playoff history, culture, or expectations. Pau was about to change that. As a rookie, he averaged 17 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 blocks. He became the first European to win Rookie of the Year. He wasn't just good, he looked like a vet from day one. His footwork was flawless, he could pass, he could finish with either hand, and he didn't force the issue. The game always came to him. Opponents were expecting a raw, soft Euro big, but instead, they got a polished and poised problem. Pau wasn't Shaq, Duncan, or Garnett. He wasn't overpowering guys, he was outsmarting them. Pau would calmly pivot around you, hit you with a subtle pump fake, and before you knew it, he was finishing off the glass. Still, the Grizzlies weren't ready to win yet, but with Pau as the focal point, there was hope. Memphis never sniffed the playoffs, but suddenly, they had a franchise player. In the early 2000s, the Grizzlies were in NBA purgatory. They just moved from Vancouver and were the kind of team you only saw on late-night League Pass replays. Pau didn't just join the Grizz, he became the Grizz. He was their leading scorer, rebounder, passer, and top defender. From 02 to 07, Pau put up 18 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists per night while guarding the league's most dominant bigs. Every week, he was thrown into a heavyweight fight, and while he wasn't built like those guys, he more than held his own. Memphis made its first ever playoff appearance in 2004 and followed it up with 2 more. Still, they had no second star, and in the Western Conference, that was a death sentence. 3 straight first-round exits followed. Still, Pau never complained. He showed up, did the work, and gave Memphis real credibility. His explosive 22-point, 17-rebound, 5-assist Game 4 against Duncan Spurs in the 2004 playoffs wasn't just a nice stat line, it was proof that Pau belonged among the league's best. Still, the question started swirling. Could Pau actually win? Was he just putting up numbers on a bad team, or was Memphis holding him back? By 2007, it was obvious. Pau needed help, and it wasn't coming in Memphis. In 2008, the Lakers were desperate. Kobe was begging for help. The roster was thin, Shaq won a championship without him in Miami, but out of nowhere, in the middle of the night, news broke.
The Lakers acquired talented big man Pau Gasol.
Memphis dealt Pau to the Lakers for almost nothing. Kwame Brown, spare parts, and the rights to Pau's brother Mark. The NBA freaked out.
Did LA give up too much to get a guy who has been labeled soft, although he puts up 19 and 9, which only 11 other guys do?
Is that a trick question?
You tell me.
They gave up Kwame Brown. Who
First
cares?
rounders.
This was robbery. It seemed as if the Lakers were the only team that knew Pau was on the market. It was eerily similar to the Luka trade, except Pau wasn't a perennial MVP candidate. The conspiracy theories poured in, but for Pau, it wasn't just a move, it was a golden ticket. He instantly unlocked the Lakers. His high post passing made the triangle offense click. His touch, his IQ, his feel, all of it perfectly complemented Kobe's relentless aggression. The Lakers ripped off a 27-9 finish after the trade, flew through the West, and landed in the 2008 finals. They locked in a date with the Celtics, and the story quickly shifted. Boston was brutal. Garnett and Perkins made life hell for Pau. Despite averaging a respectable 15 and 10, he was labeled soft as the Lakers fell in 6. The headlines were unforgiving.
Players continue to, like Amari and Kendrick, continue to say, oh, Pau's soft. I mean, when you hear things like that, what?
I don't pay attention. It's just a matter of jealousy, but I don't pay attention.
Pau took the hits, went home that summer, and pounded the weight room. He wasn't done, he was just getting started. The next 2 years in LA, a masterclass. In 2009, Pau averaged 18 points, shot 57%, and helped the Lakers win 65 games. They ripped through the Western Conference playoffs and met Dwight Howard's Magic in the finals. Howard was billed as the bully, but instead, Pau calmly dissected him. He averaged 18 points, 9 rebounds, and shut Dwight down when it mattered most. The Lakers claimed the title in 5. It was magical, but 2010 was the real story. The Lakers and Celtics met again, and this time, Pau wasn't taking punches, he was throwing them.
You know what has changed from 2008 so far? That Garnett-Gasol matchup. Pau Gasol is winning it tonight.
He averaged 19 points, 12 rebounds, and bullied the Celtics front line. Game 7 was an all-timer. 19 points, 18 rebounds, and the game-winning offensive boards that sealed it. Kobe, he shot poor that night, 6 of 24 from the field. It was Pau who did the dirty work. As the buzzer sounded, Pau broke down in tears. The Lakers grinded out an 83-79 victory, and the redemption was complete. You could make the case that Game 7 of that 2010 finals was Pau's magnum opus. The Celtics did everything they could to break him, physically and mentally, and yet, when the Lakers needed him most, Pau didn't fade to the perimeter, he dominated the paint. Every offensive board felt like it broke Boston's spirit. Those 9 offensive boards weren't just stats, they were championship plays. Even Kobe later admitted, we didn't win those championships without Pau.
The reality is, I don't win those championships without Pau. The city of LA doesn't have those 2 championships without Pau. So we know that, everybody knows that.
Now, if you know anything about Kobe, you know how rarely he handed out that kind of credit. Years later, when you hear coaches and GMs drooling over playmaking bigs, high IQ bigs, and versatile bigs who can space the floor, they're describing Pau Gasol. He could post, face up, handle the ball, and hit mid-range jumpers all day. When teams sagged off, he calmly punished them. During his peak Laker years, Pau shot over 50% from the floor for 5 years in a row. More importantly, though, he was the hub of the offense when Kobe needed him to be. His passing, criminally underrated. Gasol routinely averaged 3 to 4 assists a game, not from dump-offs, but from running the offense like a point forward. On defense, he wasn't a highlight reel, but he was smart, mobile, and always in the right place. His ability to guard both centers and forwards quietly kept the Lakers' defense afloat during the title years. In short, Pau was a prototype. Jokic, Towns, Sabonis, they all play in a world Pau helped build. After 2010, the NBA changed.
And this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach and join the Miami Heat.
LeBron took his talents to South Beach as the league became super teams, pace and space, and bad luck hit the Lakers all at once. Kobe was grinding through injuries, and the Lakers drew one of the hottest teams in basketball history, Dirk's Mavs. The 2011 playoffs were brutal. LA was swept by a Maverick squad that eventually went on to win the title. It ended the Lakers' run, and Kobe's injuries mounted. The locker room quickly shifted as Phil Jackson announced his retirement. Dwight Howard, Steve Nash, and Mike D'Antoni arrived, but it was clear Pau needed a fresh start. In 2014, Pau signed with the Chicago Bulls, and once again, he proved people wrong. At 34 years old, most thought he was just cashing checks. Instead, he posted 18 points, a career-high 11 rebounds and 2 blocks, earning yet another All-Star nod. Pau was exactly what the Bulls needed. He was the anchor behind a tough defense and a steady half-court scorer. He even had a vintage night, dropping 46 points and 18 rebounds against Milwaukee, the highest-scoring Bulls game since Michael Jordan. Beyond the court, he mentored a young Jimmy Butler while maintaining his status as a top-level contributor.
You out here hooping? Yeah. For real? Yeah. I will cook you right down right here. Pal, you don't want to get switched off on me, man.
Pau made another All-Star game in 2016, proving once again that nothing ages more gracefully than intelligence and skill. Now, Pau's NBA resume is legendary, but his international career, it might be even better. He led Spain's golden generation, winning 3 Eurobasket gold medals, 3 Olympic gold medals, and a FIBA World Championship. He's Spain's all-time leader in points, rebounds, and blocks. His run in the 2008 Olympics was particularly legendary. Spain nearly took down USA's Redeem Team, a super team that featured Kobe, LeBron, Wade, and CP3. Despite taking home silver, Pau poured in 21 points in the gold medal game and led the entire tournament in scoring. 2012 was equally great. He dropped 24 points on Team USA in another gold medal game. Then in 2015, at 35 years old, Pau delivered one of the greatest performances in European basketball history. A 40-point, 11-rebound masterpiece that resulted in a win against France in the Eurobasket semifinal. He eventually went on to lead Spain to another gold in the very next game. If you only saw Pau's NBA career, you're missing half the story. There's an argument that he's one of the greatest international players to ever live. Pau finished his career with over 20,000 points, 11,000 rebounds, nearly 4,000 assists, 2 NBA titles, 6 All-Star nods, 4 All-NBA selections, and the respect of everyone who ever shared the court with him. His legacy is much deeper than the numbers though. Pau was Kobe's most trusted teammate, a guy Kobe called the most important teammate I ever had. After his tragic passing, Pau remained close with the Bryant family. He's become an uncle to Kobe's daughters, not for attention, not for PR, but because that's who he is. Beyond LA, Pau changed basketball. He showed the world that you didn't have to copy the American game to win. He showed the NBA that big men can be creators, not just finishers. He made it normal for 7-footers to pass, move, and play with finesse. In 2023, the Lakers honored Pau by raising his number 16 into the rafters, right next to Kobe, exactly where it belongs.
Pau, when he retires, he will have his number in the rafters next to mine.
I love him. I wish he was here with Gigi, but I think he'll be proud. And he was looking forward to this moment, so I love you, brother.
So, how good was Pau Gasol actually? He was good enough to drag a small market franchise into the playoffs. Good enough to be the difference between Kobe Bryant winning 2 rings instead of 0 in the post-Shaq era. Good enough to be the centerpiece of Spain's golden era. Good enough to inspire the very style of NBA basketball that we watch today. Pau didn't have the flash, he didn't have the mixtapes, he just won. Consistently, quietly, and when it mattered most, he didn't flinch. He wasn't just good, he was great, and maybe now we'll finally start talking about him like it.